As ground soldiers and Marines in World War II fought the enemy on land, pilots were battling it out in the air.
Tonight we have the story of Bill Berry, one of the last of the greatest generation.
Before the United States Air Force, we had the Army Air Corps. From dogfights to transporting troops to dropping bombs on enemy targets, the Air Corps played a pivotal role in World War II. We're here at the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. It stands in tribute to the men and women who served in the greatest war, fought by the greatest generation. It was one of the most heroic and legendary days in United States military history.
You could walk from England to France across that channel today because our troops, those ships, were so solid.
D-Day.
And then just airplanes all up and down. We were 12,000 feet. We had fighters below us, B-26s, A-20s, B-25s, P-47s, P-51s, P-38s. It was a sight that Hollywood couldn't in any way ever recreate, and I got to see that.
Bill Berry joined the Air Corps when he was just 18 years old. By D-Day, he was a seasoned pilot.
They always got you kicked out of bed about 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning. Gave you time to go down to the mess hall as if you were going to eat anything. And I always did grab some of their terrible coffee.
For pilots in World War II, a typical day was anything but typical.
Then we went to the briefing room. Everybody sat down there, and he cranked back that curtain, and there's a map of Europe. And across that map, there would be these strings laid out. And it showed where you were going that day. And that always brought out a popular four-letter word.
Piloting a B-24 bomber, Bill Berry made countless successful bombing raids. But one particular low-altitude run and an enemy with good aim added up to his last mission.
There had been a group of paratroopers. Several of them dropped at some bridges on the Wall River between Germany and Holland, and they'd been surrounded by Germans, and they were being slaughtered. They filled the bomb bays of our B-24s up with ammunition and gasoline, K-rations, things for those guys, and our purpose was to get in as low as possible over those bridges and drop those parachutes in very limited areas so that they wouldn't drift.
Helping his fellow Americans, Berry was protected by his plane, a flak vest, and his saving grace.
This is the helmet I had on. I was flying the airplane as we turned off the target, and I was perspiring terribly. And the perspiration was running down in my eyes, and I remembered later that I had just put my finger up here. My intention was to flip that thing off my face because I was perspiring, and that's, then all of a sudden, something happened, and then I looked down between the rudder pedals of the plane, and the helmet was lying down there between the rudder pedals, and then all of a sudden, I just remembered all this great big gush of blood came rushing down over my face, and that basically was the last thing that I remembered. I'm sure if I'd looked down, I could have seen him. People have said, oh, that was a lucky shot. That wasn't a lucky shot. He could see me as plain as day. He could see that helmet, and he could see me as plain as day, and I bet he was a hell of a bird hunter.
Countless bombing raids, surviving enemy fire, learning to fly when he was just 20 years old, Bill Berry went to war a boy and came home a man.
The greatest thing that I ever did was serve my country. That was the greatest thing I ever did. That is the thing that gives me I get goosebumps saying that right now. The greatest sense of accomplishment was being especially a combat soldier in World War II. And I had a lot of successes as a lawyer, but I think my success as a soldier was my greatest achievement.
For his heroic actions, Bill Berry was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross and a Purple Heart, After his wounds healed, he came back to Oklahoma, and as you heard, he became a successful attorney. Incredible service that those guys provided.
Incredible story, very compelling.